Yeah.
Anyway, two guard James Harden. The point guard's loaded in this division with talent. It's
It is.
loaded. I mean, you have Ty Lawson, Patrick Beverly, for Houston, Tony Parker, Mike Conley, Darren Williams. But for me, I got to go Conley. He's tough. He's gritty. He's aggressive. He really just goes after it, and this guy will play through all types of pain. I have to go with him, and plus I think he's the best natural leader at the point guard position in the division, so I'll go with Conley at the one. And, of course, who's coaching? It's Greg Popovich.
Oh, yeah.
That's no question there either, so we got Pop going, coaching.
Yeah, it was a good call.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Pop on that one. So we're talking about the most overrated and underrated in the situation. So we're going to go with the storyline. Roz, we'll start with you first. The most overrated and underrated storyline in the entire division.
Oh, okay. The most underrated storyline.
It could be a player. It could be a most overrated, underrated player. Just something that's overrated and underrated when you talk about this division.
Well, I'm going to say the most underrated storyline is does LaMarcus Aldridge, does he want to be in San Antonio? I haven't figured that out. And it seems like I was reading something from him, and it was just a very small quote where he was kind of very aloof almost and saying, well, I'm just trying to figure out how I fit in here.
Yeah, he has been pretty mum. You're right.
Yeah, and it just seems like that left some sort of impression on me that I don't want to say he may not want to be there, but he may be having some trouble adjusting to new digs. I don't know what it is, but that, and I saw someone else, maybe over at, I'm trying to remember, maybe some other basketball writer I saw sort of hit on this, does he actually want to be there? Because we're not hearing a lot out of him. And, in his interviews, he hasn't seemed like he's been real thrilled about the opportunity to play on this team, which, is the best chance. They were really good last year, of course, but, this is a really awesome opportunity for him to win the finals. So you'd think you'd hear a little more enthusiasm out of him, but we're not hearing that. So that's a storyline. Somebody needs to play that up, or we either need to figure out, does he love it, or is it actually that he's having a hard time, and we need to hear more about that. I'm just very curious about that one. And probably the most overrated storyline is, as I go across this, I'm thinking through. Matt Barnes has come up a couple of times on the call so far. So this is for my guy, Matt Barnes, in that, people really thought, he was like, listen, I wasn't driving down, driving on the highway going 95 miles an hour, listening to Tupac ready to kill someone. With a loaded Mac 10 in the back seat. He got a call from his son. His son seemed uncomfortable and finally had to admit that, Derek Fisher was at his house and he didn't like the sound of his son's voice, and he took a drive down there. He had just been with his ex and the whole family. They went up to Grizz camp earlier that day. So, imagine the shock to hear that now they're back home and Derek Fisher is at his house. So maybe that's my overrated storyline, is that he wasn't driving down there to kill him. But, maybe Derek Fisher just got a little smart, and he had to pop in the mouth to calm him down.
So you don't think it was all that it was made up to be?
Well, no, I don't think it, it was, some dude called him and was like, D. Fish is at your house, man. You need to get down here and take care of your business. But he really seemed, in the interviews he's done with Memphis media, where he, there was one interview where he said a lot, and then he's sort of gotten quiet since then. But he's like, I got a FaceTime moment with my son, and he had a strange look on his face, and he was reluctant to tell me what was wrong. That didn't seem right. I had just seen him earlier that day. So I just went down there to support my kids. Now, that may have been, the most PR'd story of the year, but
right.
It seems pretty logical that could have been the case. So maybe he was driving down to kill Derek Fisher. It was a little bit overrated. Yeah, a little overblown.
Paul, what do you think?
I got to say the most overrated story, I guess it slightly differs from Roz, is the offseason that San Antonio had, with David West and LaMarcus Aldridge. I do think that it was a great offseason, getting one of the top 10, 15, debatable players in LaMarcus Aldridge in the league is a great pickup, but the rest of your team is now a year older. We were going over some of the ages over the break, and I mean, the majority of the team is over 30, and not that being over 30 is old, but I mean, in basketball years, you're pretty old. So I'd say that's the most overrated story is the fact that they're going to be automatic title contenders because of LaMarcus Aldridge. Most underrated story, I don't think people have talked about Ty Lawson enough. I think that Ty Lawson being added to Houston was just a huge addition.
Well, my thoughts and Mark's thoughts are going to be, we'll do that on the next segment. But, Roz, before you go, one question. Who wins the division?
Well, now I feel bad because I want to come right behind and say San Antonio, but but now I feel kind of foolish saying that given, the state, which is a very legitimate statement in what you just said about LaMarcus Aldridge. People are trying to qualify them as an automatic, contender, basically, to win the NBA championship. But still, I think they, I still think that they have the best chance really out of this division to get in a rhythm and make things happen. I think New Orleans is still pretty young, and I think the Grizzlies, you got to go down to the wire with the Grizzlies to make sure that they're going to be able to do enough to stay healthy and to stay in the groove to get all the way to the finish line. I don't trust Dwight Howard, sorry, and he would need to be a very important piece of the Rockets getting there. And Dallas, I don't even know what to say about Dallas and a possible, run at winning the division. But I still got to go with San Antonio. It seems like an old, cliched pick, but I got to roll with them. They seem like they're in the best position. And adding LaMarcus Aldridge is going to be significant, maybe just not significant enough to win the NBA championship, but certainly, possibly to win the Southwest Division.
Roz, before we let you out of here, I know you have other commitments, but before you go, tell everybody how to get in contact with you, social media, and how to reach you in those other places.
Yeah, probably the easiest way is to catch me on Twitter. That's where I post, post all my articles, and there's a link there where you can catch up with all the stuff I've done recently, which is mostly over at the Sports Fan Journal. Just put up a piece yesterday. We're counting down the 30 most intriguing players of the NBA as we work our way towards the season, and I wrote about Jordan Clarkson for the Lakers yesterday. So check that out. Go to my Twitter page, r_Trinity, and click on the link, and you can check that out. And you can find me on Instagram at r_Trinity as well. Thanks so much for having me on. I always love coming on and kicking up stuff with you guys. So please have me back as soon as you can.
Hey,
thank you.
You're always family, Roz. And besides, you got to let us know when your next big television event is as well, too, so we can get everybody tuned in for you.
Absolutely. I will keep you posted.
That is Rosalind Ross, Lady Sings of Sports, Yahoo Sports, and Sports Fan Journal, joining us tonight. And we're going to take a quick break here on FCP Radio, Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC. We'll get our division thoughts and as well as close out the show. We're right back at this break.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Hurt in an accident? Visit forthepeople.com. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Today's Porkcast is looking mighty delicious. We'll have some smoky hot pork chops starting at around 5 p.m. with a cool cucumber tomato salad breezing in from the north at about 6. It'll be a beautiful evening in the tri-state area, perfect for grilling. So be sure to pick up some New York pork chops on your way home. For your up-to-the-minute recipe Porkcast, visit porkbeinspired.com/Porkcast. Pork, be inspired. This message funded by America's pork producers and the Pork Checkoff.
Listeners, now I know you've heard of this up-and-coming brand Hoop Culture, which is headquartered right here in Orlando, Florida. But here's something that you didn't know. They are opening a flagship store in Fashion Square Mall, downstairs right in front of the movie theater. That's right, the brand that has brought you the iconic Eat, Sleep, Ball design is bringing their streetwear brand to retail. Stay ahead of the fashion trends. Go visit them online at hoopculture.com or follow them at Hoop Culture. Our listeners save 30% off your next order. Use the code RADIO at checkout.
Orlando Magic basketball is back. Celebrate the new Magic season with contests, events, giveaways, and more. All part of the Pure Magic Tip-Off presented by Chase. Enter the 6-man t-shirt design contest on October 19th. Enjoy a free downtown scavenger hunt October 24th and a pub crawl later that night. Plus, stop by Lake Eola on October 25th for a surprise giveaway. For details and contest rules, visit orlandomagic.com/tip-off. Pure Magic starts now.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Need a jumpstart in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? SOFO is here for you. SOFO means something for everyone, and they help expand your business through all platforms of media. Need to grow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? Their experienced team expands your brand and puts your business in places you would have never been before. Call SOFO at 407-607-9862 or follow SOFOELLC on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey fans, this is Eric Kohler, stadium voice of UCF football. We invite you to tune in to EK Sports every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we feature the preferred picks of the week, insured by our good friends at Preferred Benefits Consultants, where it's always fun to pick those games of the week, but never a time to gamble with your health care. Find a Preferred Benefits Consultant at OrlandoHealthExchange.com. That's the letter X, OrlandoHealthExchange.com, and start saving today.
Never-ending sports coverage. FM 96.9. The Game.
We are back for full court press review sponsored by SOFOELLC on the new 96.9 The Game, Orlando Sports Leader. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, hanging out with Paul Myers and Mark Johnson. We just let our good friend Rosalind Roscoe. Like I said, if you missed it, check her out, art_Trinity on Twitter.com. Great articles, great pieces, and she's, like I said, a very dynamic person to talk to. But before we finish our Southwest Division preview, guys, there's some preseason basketball going on tonight. Oklahoma City beat Dallas 100-88. Indiana, took care of Detroit 101-97. Cleveland losing to Milwaukee 110-101. And the hometown Orlando Magic beat the Miami Heat in overtime 95-92. Now, I'm only going to mention this. Like I said, Magic fans should be excited. Aaron Gordon played tonight, Mark, and he's finally back in the lineup. Vucevic, played well. Vucevic played well. Super Mario. He was scoring tonight. But, Mark, I'm going to start with you on this one. The Miami Heat tonight, they dressed, it looks like, 11 players, just 10 players. Let me tell you the players who were not playing tonight in this exhibition game at Amway. There was no Amari Stoudemire, Chris Bosh, Udonis Haslem, Dwayne Wade, Gordon Dragic, Mario Chalmers, Hassan Whiteside, Luol Deng, Josh McRoberts. They all sat out the game, and the Magic only won by 3 points. Mark, if you're Scott Skiles in the situation and you see all these guys DNP coaches' decisions, and they could have been dressed, they might not have been dressed, and you win by only 3 points in overtime, what are you telling your team?
Well, that wasn't the victory speech at the end of this game. Let's just say that. I'm just like, man, these aren't first-year guys, Oladipo and Vucevic and these guys. I mean, like, you've been here 3 years or more. Come on. Y'all could play better than that. Y'all could play a lot better than that. You owe it to the fans to play better than that. You owe it to yourselves to play better than that. It's no excuse, to beat a depleted team only by 3 points. I'm glad you got the victory, but come on, don't pat yourself on the back. For being practiced tomorrow early, because I'm going to work y'all hard.
Yeah, so Mark, I don't know